Welcome to Books and Things with Tom. I've been taking a couple of days off and enjoying the winter. And I've never seen so many cold days in my life, not after all at once. But I've been trying to recoup, and I appreciate you watching all the reruns. And today we got a new one. As a matter of fact, today is my 100th show here at SEC-TV. And for my 100th show, I've got Craig Gordon, who is the founder and director of N.E.A.D, N-E.A.D. I'll explain that. Well, I won't. He will, because I don't explain that. Anyway, we're going to discuss some of those things, ways to make ourselves healthier, avoid addictions, and this is going to be kind of along the line of the heroin program that we've been running for 8 weeks. And please welcome Craig.
Thank you, sir. Pleasure being here.
I'm glad that we could make it.
Congratulations on 100 shows.
Oh, man. Huh?
It's amazing.
I've been busy. I didn't even know that. Anyway, what got you into this program?
Well, my mother was what I call a prescription heroin addict.
Oh.
She was eating poorly, getting migraine headaches, and complaining to the doctor about the pain from the migraines. And so they were dishing out Demerol and Dilaudid a long time ago. And this goes back 35, 40 years ago. And so I got a belly full of this from a very young age.
Yeah.
Then I had a girlfriend who was really nice, beautiful girl. I'm 20 years old, and every 6th or 8th time she's drinking her innocent little white wine spritzer, she'd turn into Satan.
Oh, boy.
And I'm like, wow, get a load of that.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering why.
Yeah.
And how's that work? And stumbled across the connection with sugar. And what booze is, wine and beer is fermented sugar, alcohol is magnified sugar, and drunk is deep sugar shock. And then one of my signs says, watch out for diabetes, because people can drink themselves into diabetes.
That's true. That's true. There's so much sugar in especially wine. It's so sweet, and it's bam. And the only way you can get rid of it is you got to stop drinking.
Well, it might not always taste sweet, but there's a tremendous amount of concentrated carbohydrate content that elicits a lot of bad problems. When you take in alcohol and so forth, you actually become sugar drunk or go into deep sugar shock.
Yeah.
Most public has no idea. They're thinking, oh yeah, we're going to go have a good time. It feels good. It's actually sugar shock.
Yeah.
And most don't realize it.
And the next morning you don't feel good either.
No. It gets you in a lot of different ways.
Now, because I have diabetes, I've done some studies on it, and it's not good.
No.
It's not good. Too much sugar. And everything you eat, it's got sugar, 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 and salt. And that's not good either.
It does. Well, this is one of my signs. I discuss with the public as an opener could all these things, violence, poverty, addiction, mental health issues, diabetes, chronic disease, all be symptoms of malnutrition? And I haven't heard it said that way before.
No, that's
interesting. But it seems to make sense.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think about it for a minute, and then they go, oh, I get it.
Yeah.
And then they start to hopefully think better and differently and more open-mindedly about nutrition and exercise.
Well, you know, if you think about it, now that the sign is up there, you're sitting at home, you're hungry, what do you grab? A loaf of bread? No, you grab candy or cookies or whatever's sitting on the shelf.
Something simple. Something convenient.
It's more sugar.
The taste buds of the typical American are looking for fat, salt, and sugar.
Because I look up there and I go, bread? Nah. Or maybe toast with jelly and peanut butter.
Anything at all, as long as it's easy.
As long as it's easy and sweet, I like it. But that's true, and you do, eventually, it'll kill you. You'll be malnutrition because
It'll
not
get
getting
you.
food.
It'll take a long time. You won't know it. You'll think it's normal, and then it'll rear its ugly head down the road.
And it won't be easy. It'll be
And the whole time you're not aware of it.
no.
Till it's too late.
No. When I found out I had sugar, I had no idea.
No.
None.
No.
But on the other hand, if I had looked back and saw the symptoms, I should have known.
People have blinders. They don't want to do anything different.
So I'm tired, so I have to go to the bathroom. So what? Mm-hmm. You know.
Yeah.
And
You don't even want to know. People don't want to know what they're,
No.
doing to themselves. They don't want to be hypocrites.
No.
So,
And the only thing that woke me up was I was watching TV without my glasses. I could see the TV screen better. Mm-hmm. And I called my buddy that's an eye doctor, and I said, "What's the deal?" He said, "Do you have your diabetes checked?" I said, "Matter of fact, I'm going to the doctor tomorrow. Call me back." And I went straight to the hospital. So,
you're lucky.
Yeah.
You're lucky. A lot of people don't wake up.
Yeah.
So,
No, very lucky. But anyway, back to this. That's very interesting.
thank you. We have another one. Poor diet and bad habits. And how do they affect us?
You've been following me?
No. No, this is rather common, what's going on out there. So we have, our nation spends upwards of $6 trillion between big food, beverage, pharma, and mainstream medicine. $6 trillion is 1/3 of our GDP, our gross domestic product. Just for scope and scale, 1/10,000th of $6 trillion is $600 million. You could only imagine 1% would be 60 billion.
Yeah.
And 10% would be 600 billion. Okay?
Wow.
$600 billion. And the amount of money that goes into advertising, even if it was half of that, $300 billion.
Yeah.
And the influence that these fields and businesses wield in Washington is way off the chart. And so we don't have any idea that's going on, but there's very big money and very big business behind a lot of these, and fields and reputations and on and on and on, and people don't want to know about what they're doing to themselves. Very scary.
Yeah, it is. It is, because we blow a lot of money on junk. And
Yeah.
it's not like when I grew up where my mother made everything, including the cookies and the sweets and everything. It's not. Now it's off the shelf and it's filled with garbage.
I was eating most of the same stuff.
Yeah.
Didn't know any better, dumber than a rock. Most of us, I'm 60 years old, most of us were conceived, our parents were drinking and smoking when we were conceived.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know if they were doing
Not
it
a
at
very
that
good-
moment, but
Not a very good start. So, the cigarettes and the drinking and everything back when was, just everybody.
So we've traded our cigarettes off for heroin.
Well, I call cigarettes sugarettes. The active ingredient in a typical cigarette is syrups, sugars, different types of sweeteners. And so you got 30 of those that sweeten and mask the flavor of the barn floor.
Yeah.
Then you pull that smoke into your lungs faster than a needle, like good old crack. So the cigarettes are a delivery system through your lungs. And there's 600 chemicals. I could tell you stories. You don't want to even know how bad they are. I think the average pack of cigarette actually costs us, in ancillary costs, sickness care, lost opportunities, wasted time, something like $200 a pack.
We're getting there.
Yeah, so someday. So this is one on poor habits. I've got these up in doctor's offices. I've got them up in parole and probation offices. I put these signs up quite a bit down in Fairfield County where I am. Here's one on heroin, on all the different things that go on. It's another schematic that explains a lot about all the different steps and influences and people that are involved in you winding up, getting in an emergency room. Oh, here's the oxycodone or the hydrocodone or the Demerol or the Dilaudid or the Percocet or whatever kind of opiate it might be that you're getting started on. And a lot of times these are not necessary because all these incidents were actually preventable if we were healthy and thinking more clearly. And that's a big deal because we have to focus on prevention. We never have, it's never been well funded, and something called demand reduction. We know all about law enforcement, we know about interdiction on the borders, we know that that doesn't work statistically, and stemming the flow of drugs in this country doesn't work.
No, it's too cheap. Make too much money on drugs, you can't get rid of it.
No.
That's the problem.
No.
And it's big pharma.
Well, the next sign that you bring that up, big pharma. I'm sitting in an opiate town hall in Bridgeport, Connecticut. I look down at my phone, and my friend Kat sends me a message about the Sackler family that owns Purdue Pharma, that makes Oxycontin, and they had just been inducted into the Fortune 400 with $14 billion. They've made mountains of money watching people, abuse their drugs and overprescribe, and now we have a huge problem that's costing us $14 billion every 3 months or less in this country.
And they got you coming and going. They got you high. They sell you the drugs to get you there. You're OD, you go to the hospital, they got you again. And then to save your life, they got you more pharmaceuticals. They're just making money all the way around.
Now there's a cottage industry that makes $8.5 billion just on testing for opiates.
Oh, jeez.
Drug testing. Massive amounts of money. So nobody wants to interrupt that annuity. Yeah, right? Unfortunately, we've got to do what we got to do.
Yeah.
So this is about how do we foster positive behavioral change. This is about helping build people's capacity.
Yeah.
And how do we get busy doing that? We have to feed them better. We have to get more exercise. We have to eliminate what I call the obvious insults out of their diets and out of their lives, whether that be chemicals, whether that be food, whether that be beverages, whether that be over-the-counter prescription and street drugs.
Yeah.
We have to get a lot more serious about eliminating those insults so the positive stuff that you do for yourself can grab hold and help you and boost you and lift your capacity so that you can think deep, clear thoughts, process and retain information, be a good student, and help things improve instead of go sideways or backwards.
Yeah.
So,
Didn't Mrs. Obama do that last year?
unfortunately, she,
And didn't they make fun of her?
well, she got bought out by Big Food.
Yeah.
First year of her tenure with her husband, it was about nutrition. Second year, it's all of a sudden, let's move and do the exercise thing. And the focus went away from Big Food to exercise.
Yeah,
and
because Big Food doesn't make a lot of money on fruits and vegetables.
no, it's all processed. A lot of it's just garbage.
And I bring that up because I felt bad for her. That she tried, and she got a lot of booze and a lot of N.E.A.D. And
Of course.
she took the heat for it.
Well, she tried.
Yeah.
She did a good job, but this is billions and billions and billions of dollars a year. You could only imagine the influence that $20 billion would have rolling down Pennsylvania Avenue once a year.
Yeah.
And what can I do for you?
Yeah.
You know, anything else?
And
Just
now
let me know.
And now the parents are trying to get soda back in schools.
Yeah, well, we now call soda soda.
Yeah.
Okay, because it does not make sense. It hurts people. It hurts kids. It's full of sugar. Goes right into your blood. You don't even digest it.
Yeah?
It's already liquid.
If you have a diabetes fit, drink a Coke.
Yeah, well, a little bit of orange juice maybe. If you're not paying attention, your blood sugar drops and you got to be careful.
Yeah. But that's it's terrible to what we do to our bodies. It really is. And it doesn't start at my age. It starts when the kid's in the crib. You know, give them that stuff.
It's all over the place. And we have to get very serious about nutrition and exercise if we are to make some real progress.
Yeah.
We've heard prevention all our lives, and nothing happens. It just keeps getting worse statistically, and those statistics are people and their families. Has to stop. We have to, start to do something about this. So I put up a sign here about a friend of mine, Barbara. She was a probation officer. She's in her late 80s now. 50 years ago, she's a probation officer and learning a new way to treat her charges. So the judge would say you do exactly what she tells you, especially the diet and the exercise. She subsequently does a program with 1,100 adults and juveniles, first and second offenders. The judge says you do exactly what Barbara tells you. Barbara pulls out her book, Food and Behavior. Then she pulls out another one called The Nutritional Guidelines for Correcting Behavior. And lo and behold, she turns the negative statistics with crime upside down.
Wow.
Like 89% of her charges never went back in front of a judge.
So eating the proper foods can basically change your life.
And eliminating the insults. And you add to that proper exercise. Exercise oxygen is how we apply good nutrition. So exercise is a big part of nutrition. It's how we apply it. It's how we get yardage out of it. That's how we get benefit out of it. And we introduce oxygen and we circulate all the vitamins through our blood to our extremities, and everything is happy instead of anything but.
Yeah.
Easy.
That sounds about right.
Easy. We have healthcare. Fight is with alcohol, fast food, soda, big pharma, who depend on our bad habits. And when are we going to figure that out? Like it's like we have it in for ourselves.
Yeah. Can we stop watching the commercials on TV?
Here we have sugar paralyzes immune function. Cancer and disease lurk unopposed. How many times do we have to go through that? But people don't want to talk about certain things. They don't want to change their culture. They don't want to not love their grandkids with sugar.
Yeah.
Okay? And making changes is real tough. Don't understand it, don't want to understand it. Here's one that says, don't wait until you're so hungry you want to break a window. Then you eat poorly. Your body might know, but you don't.
Yeah.
You overeat, you make bad choices, and so forth. Bad news.
I should hang that up in my living room, in my kitchen.
Oh, I have a catalog with 350 signs.
Really?
And I'm going to be putting out a book soon enough.
Oh.
Here's one for our people in recovery. And to this day, it's a battle in AA, N.A.C.A., and most of the programs out there because they don't understand the dry drunk syndrome. which is substituting your original drugs of choice for coffee, sugar, and cigarettes. If you continue to ingest those chemicals, it makes it extremely difficult for you to do what I call the mental Olympics in early recovery. So we're there to learn, we're there to process, we're there to understand how we got there in between coffee, sugar, and cigarettes. And so your body's still pissed off, your blood sugar's still going up and down like a yo-yo, hyper depressed, hurry up, wait, happy, sad. It's like, like this. And you don't know any better.
Yeah.
And that's recovery.
Wow.
And so people need to get focused on health. Health is effective prevention and treatment. It's very simple. If we want to foster positive behavioral change and their blood sugar is going up and down like a yo-yo, and we're not helping deliver nutrient to the neocortex, it's like our brains are on tilt, like, hello, how you doing today? Don't you want to tilt your head so you can see me straight?
Yeah.
And if our brains don't get our nutrient, and your blood sugar's up and down like a yo-yo, which is your fuel source for thinking and being physical, and that's going up and down, what do you think is going to happen to your brain?
Yeah.
It's very easy, very simple. So you have another article here, Diseases Due to Sugar Poisoning, written in 1910.
Wow.
7 years ago?
Wow.
This, I expect, was done by a doctor who studied diseases that were caused by too much carbohydrate, in particular sugar.
Yeah.
And he probably spent 30 years of his career from 1880 to 1910 becoming sugar literate to be able to identify and treat his patients like, okay, have you thought about the diet? Have you thought about getting rid of the white flour and the white rice? Like, what's the difference between white flour and white sugar?
Is sugar bleached?
Yeah, they're both bleached.
Oh, they're both bleached.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So the difference between white flour and white sugar is 20 minutes. Because your body digests that white flour or that white rice or that corn product directly into sugar, starting in your mouth with the enzymes in your mouth and then into your body.
Wow.
So it's amazing how efficient that works.
Yeah.
Here's another study done in England, a cohort study that had involved 17,415 people for 40 years. One of the biggest studies ever done. The conclusion was there is a robust relationship between confectionery consumption, that's their word for sugar, and adult violence and aggression. So our sugar habits as kids wind up driving delinquency and crime and addiction and alcoholism and aberrant behavior and mental illness.
Well, sugar in children can make them nuts. They get very hyperactive. I used to bring my grandson home. I didn't know it at the time, but he'd stay with me for the afternoon. I'd feed him candy, cookies, whatever. By the time I got him home, his mother goes, "What'd you feed him?" I said, "I don't know, everything was in the house." And she just looked at me and shook her head, and I said, "I'm the bad grandparent."
Well,
but it's true, because he would be hyper by the time I get him home.
well, I call it sugar drunk.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just a short hop, skip, and a jump from beer and cigarettes when you're 14 and 16 years old. So we're looking at the same chemicals, just a little bit more magnified or fermented. And, the average American, you, me, and everybody we know, we're all malnourished. It depends on to what degree.
Yeah.
There is no perfect nutrition.
Yeah.
And if we can get some of these core thoughts into our heads and make improvements, even just try it for a couple of weeks,
Now, how do you suggest getting all this nutrition out of vegetables, or?
Well, we want to get proteins. We want to get good fats. We want to get carbohydrates, but complex carbohydrates and less of them. We want to eat vegetables. We want to hammer the greens. We want to eat seeds, berries, nuts. We want to eat fruit. But we don't want packaged and processed.
Yeah.
And, store-bought stuff, packaged up stuff. We want to eat stuff that doesn't have any ingredients. It's just, here's an apple, Tom, and maybe there's some peanut butter.
Yeah.
And have that. Or maybe here's some water instead of a soda. And this adds up. This makes a big difference.
Yeah.
In dispositions and learning and so forth. So healthy food, exercise, and you're on the road to recovery, a meaningful recovery. Your brain is going to follow your diet like a perfect shadow, like this one here. Poor diet can actually cause mental illness because, again, your brain's on tilt. And then you make a few poor decisions, yesterday and yesteryear, so that adds up. Then you have difficulty with school or difficulty at work, or you're not flexible, tolerant, agile, mentally and physically, and things happen. And you get, fed up. I have another one here, and these are just
we've only got about 3 minutes left, so.
Okay. So poor nutrition can actually cause crime, poverty, and racism. And I know that's a huge leap, but... So I have a few resources. I have Your Health workbooks that I'm putting programs together with different school systems, social service agencies, criminal justice, and so forth, where they can do these programs and we can actually measure prevention, which is hard to do.
We got a couple of minutes left here. I guess got to say a couple of things. For more information, it's on the sign at the TV there, and if you want some more information, about these books that's available, contact me or write to Craig. He'll be more than happy to send you any information you want, or call him at the 203 number. This is very important. If you're trying to change your life, you're trying to get a better diet, this is a way to go. It's obvious. We got to do things that make us better. I've had some time off, and I hope everybody had a wonderful Christmas and holiday and New Year's, and I know I did. It's good, except I had a cold for about the first 2 weeks of the month. And lost my track. The Pork Duck VFW is having his fish and chips just tomorrow, Friday. And it starts at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, runs till 7, and they try to get there. Special thank you for the Franks in here, and I'd like to thank you for watching. Email me at santostom at santostom@comcast.net. You should be reading and cuddle up with a good book on these cold nights. See you next time. Thank you very much. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, sir. Pleasure.